All right. Well, shalom, everybody. Pardon me while I'm getting my new Chromebook. Bleh, I know, right? Set up. I would like to screen capture, but I'll have to install something later. But anyway, so I'm sure you've all heard about the NIH funding this bizarre study about the beagles in Tunisia in Africa. Well, I figured I'd kind of, hop around the internet and see who else is writing articles, because the first thing I came across was a Breitbart article that somebody had posted a link to in Gab. And I don't know why, I just wanted to search what other articles are out there. What are they saying? Well, anyway, so this one by Newsweek says Anthony Fauci facing quiz over NIH funding. So this one, it's a little weaker than the first one I read on Breitbart. So, bipartisan group of lawyers is seeking answers from the NIH, and you go on to read about. It's like okay, and it sounds more. Oh yeah, so it mentions a cordectomy. Like that doesn't sound right. Poor puppies. Well, here, let me just, let me go back to this original, the other article I read. Yeah, so this is what I read. Fauci's NIH division partially funded insects eating beagles alive. And, the other article that I came across, like I said, on Newsweek, doesn't mention about insects eating puppies alive. It does not mention that. It just says that they were given experimental drugs and such and such. And it kind of, I don't know. It came across as like, this is kind of weak. Because it's one of those articles where you're like, oh my goodness, oh, those poor puppies. But then, you kind of tend to forget about it. But something like this kind of sticks in your head. Fauci's NIH division partially funded insects eating beagles alive. And so exactly what are we talking about? Basically, in the details that it goes through in here, and this is also not mentioned in the Newsweek article, that so these sandflies were infecting the beagles, the babies, puppies, and the fur babies. And they were locking their heads in cages to keep them in place. This kind of article, kudos to the person that wrote this article. Anyway, yeah, I just thought it was kind of weak reading the other one. Like, really? That's all you gotta say? And it tends to focus more on the funding, the wasteful tax dollars, our tax dollars, blah, 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 blah. But when you're talking about not, I'm sorry, the poor fur babies. I kind of have this, like, mental block so that I can actually proceed with life. So they were all between 6 and 8 months old. This is the Newsweek article. Injecting and force feeding the puppies an experimental drug for several weeks. And it's still a little, very nerve-wracking. But I definitely, if I had to suggest one article, it would be this one from Breitbart. Especially with that picture at the very top. And just the details that it goes into. And especially this about the cordectomy. I'm sorry if you're not able to stomach this. It's just, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we being sick, reading these articles, or are we helping to stop this kind of nonsense? Okay, so that cordectomy, there we go. To eliminate incessant barking, the beagle puppies also had their vocal cords removed. I just, the way this article is written, it just kind of, it's something that you don't forget. Proverbs 24:11, "Oh, hold them back who are stumbling toward destruction." Pray for those people that are, may their eyes be opened, may their hearts be convicted, and all that, right? The parable of the unforgiving servant, Matthew 18:21 through 35. We don't want to make God angry. We are not here to fight. We war not against flesh and blood, right? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, if you want to share a link with somebody, I would definitely suggest this Breitbart article. Shalom.